Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever learned all the right words in English, gone through the textbooks, but when you actually speak, something just feels a little off? Like you're not quite sounding natural? Well, in this explainer, we are going to fix that. We're going to close that gap between sounding technically correct and actually sounding like a real person in a day-to-day conversation. So let's dive right in.
It really all starts with this simple but super powerful idea. Sounding natural in English? A huge part of that is just about sounding polite. It's not just about getting the grammar right, it's about making that social connection. See, when you use polite language, you're doing more than just being nice. You're using the same social shortcuts that native speakers use, and that's what makes you sound more natural, and it helps conversations just flow so much better. In this slide right here is a perfect example. Look at the left. I want a coffee. Yeah, grammatically it's fine, but it feels really blunt, doesn't it? It's almost like a demand. Now look over to the right. I would like a coffee, please. Just that tiny shift in phrasing makes it sound so much more polite and, well, normal. This is exactly the kind of simple upgrade we're going to be talking about today.
So what's the secret sauce here? It's not about memorizing a dictionary. The real key, the thing that's going to unlock your fluency and make you sound natural, is mastering these fixed phrases. Think of them like pre-made chunks of language that native speakers use all the time without even thinking.
First up, let's look at how to go from being super direct to a bit more diplomatic. Honestly, these are some of the most basic but powerful phrases that can immediately soften your language and just make a huge difference in how people react to you.
Let's just compare these two for a second. Send me the report. It kind of feels like an order, right? A command. But notice what happens when you just add could you to the beginning. Could you send me the report? Suddenly, it's not an order anymore. It's a polite request. It sounds so much softer, more collaborative.
Okay, saying no can be really awkward. A flat-out no, like you see on the left, feels like you're slamming a door in someone's face. It's just so harsh and final. But check out the phrase on the right. I'd love to, but it completely changes the vibe. You're showing that you appreciate the offer before you say no. It's a much gentler way to decline, and it kind of leaves the door open for next time. Okay, let's level up a bit with a slightly more advanced structure. The phrase, I was wondering if, is incredibly useful. And the pattern here is the key. It's I was wondering if plus a subject and a past tense verb. So for example, I was wondering if you had a moment to help. Using the past tense like that, it's a little trick that makes the request feel less direct, less demanding. It's almost like it was just a thought passing through your mind. It's a very, very polite way to ask for something. All right, let's shift gears now. We're going to take all these ideas about politeness and apply them to the professional world. Because in the modern workplace, using the right phrases isn't just about being nice. It's about sounding competent, collaborative, and like you're part of the team. Here are 4 phrases you will hear constantly. They're part of that modern work lingo. Let's hop on a quick call. It's just a friendly, low-pressure way to say, let's meet. When a problem pops up, saying, I'll look into it, shows you're taking charge. Keep me posted is just a more casual way of saying, keep me informed. And my favorite, let me get back to you, is the perfect way to buy yourself some time to find the right answer.
Okay, picture this. It's a super common situation at work. You've just finished explaining a really complex idea to your team. Now, how do you check if they're with you without sounding like a school teacher?
The difference here is so subtle but so important. It's all about tone. When you ask, is it clear? It can accidentally sound like you're questioning their ability to understand. But when you ask, does that make sense? You're putting the focus back on your explanation. It's much more collaborative and it makes people feel way more comfortable asking questions.
Collaboration isn't just about making sure people understand you. It's also about jumping into active discussions. You've got to share your opinion, agree, disagree, and sometimes even interrupt. These are all totally normal parts of a conversation, but the trick is doing it with a bit of grace.
So think of this little table as your cheat sheet for any meeting. When you're agreeing, instead of a simple yes, something stronger like, I couldn't agree more, shows real enthusiasm. When you disagree, notice how a phrase like, I see your point but, works so well. You're acknowledging their idea first before you present your own. And for interrupting, is it okay if I jump in? Is a fantastic, polite way to ask for permission to speak instead of just talking over them. All right, let's move away from the serious work stuff and into the art of just everyday casual chat. This is where you can really loosen up and start to sound relaxed and friendly. Look, how are you is totally fine. It's not wrong, but it can feel a little formal sometimes. If you want to sound more casual with friends or colleagues you know well, try something like, how's it going? Or the super informal, what's up? These small tweaks just make you sound way more approachable. You know, a huge part of a good conversation is just showing the other person you're actually paying attention. People call these listening noises. So a simple "I see" doesn't mean you're literally seeing something, it just means "I get it, I understand." Or a quick "really?" with a little surprise in your voice, that encourages them to tell you more. These little verbal nods are what keep a conversation alive.
And here is a pro tip that is so simple, but it works like magic. Use compliments. Seriously, they create instant connection. If you're at someone's house, a simple, "Wow, you have a beautiful home," or "This food is delicious," it just immediately creates this warm, positive vibe and makes people feel really happy and relaxed talking to you. Okay, for our last section, we're going to talk about something that most people think of as a mistake, but actually, it's a huge part of sounding natural, and that's filler words.
So what do you think? Are words like like, and you know, are they just bad habits that we need to get rid of? I mean, so many language learners are told to avoid them at all costs. But is that really how people talk?
Well, the answer is a big no. Filler words actually have a really important job to do. First, they buy your brain a second to think without just having awkward silence. They can also soften a statement to make it sound less blunt, and a phrase like "you know" is actually a way of checking in to make sure the other person is still with you. They're not mistakes. They are tools that make you sound more human when you speak. Of course, context is everything. You've got casual fillers like and like, but then you have words like well and so, which are totally acceptable ways to start a sentence, even in a more formal setting, like a work presentation. They just help you transition from one thought to the next. So if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Transitioning from textbook English to natural English is all about understanding the how. It's the fixed phrases, the polite words, and even those little conversational fillers, that's what makes all the difference. So there you go. The key to sounding more natural is to just get out there and start practicing. So I have to ask, what's the first new phrase you're going to try using today? Thanks for tuning in to This Explainer.